Nice to see everyone. I'm Rebecca. I'm the CMO of Octopus Energy, which is an energy company, but we're a bit more than an energy company. We're kind of like British Gas meets Tesla with a bit of our own vibe. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that later. But first of all, I'm quite pleased that some people are here. I was a little bit nervous that getting one of the later slots on the last day, I was like, shit, what if no one comes? So I was trying to persuade my husband to come, but he didn't want to come and deal with my work shit. So thank you. Look, like quite a few people, so that's very exciting for me. Also, congratulations, everyone, to everybody who has survived the last few years, because fucking hell, it's been a bit traumatic, hasn't it? I'm quite nervous about doing this presentation because I haven't done one for like a few years now to actual humans without the protective screen in between. But to everyone who's survived a pandemic mentally and physically, to everyone who's reassured their kids that it'll be okay when they've got actually no fucking idea, for everyone who's still here and still smiling, well done. Delighted to be with you all today. This happened to me 2 weeks before first lockdown. A small child arrived to my brood of children. And I just wanted to talk a little bit, first of all, before we get into the meaty stuff about what happens to people during a pandemic. And this is my pandemic through Amazon. So a week after my baby was born, just before we went into lockdown, I bought myself The Last Hours, a book from Amazon about a plague. I don't quite know why I did that. I think that's a little bit strange, but you can perhaps tell kind of the mental state of someone. A week later, I started prepping. There was no toilet roll purchased, but I did, for some reason, buy 3 different brands of water, just in case the water supplies went down. Now, just to be really clear, I'm a very fully functioning adult human, right, with a big job, and I was buying shitloads of water on Amazon. And also, this is the important thing, 12 boxes of tomato puree, right? Because my rationale was that if society disintegrated, I reckon I'd be quite good in an apocalypse, right? I've done a bit of karate. I reckon I could, kill some rabbits in the woods, but I was a little bit worried about scurvy for my kids. So I was like, what can I buy, which is vitamin C? So 12 boxes of tomato puree arrived. Long-suffering husband was a bit like, what the fuck are you doing? We're still working through the tomato puree 2 years later. I obviously started to feel a little bit better as we went on, so I started buying baby stuff, as one does, party supplies, because my little boy had a birthday in lockdown, which was a bit dreadful, and you have to decorate the house and all that kind of thing. That was a bit more fun. 16 kilos of flour. Did anyone do that? When you couldn't get flour in the shop and you had to buy them, it's fucking enormous, right? We're still working our way through the flour as well. And then finally, clearly feeling much better now, started buying some feel-good stuff, great women who changed the world, good night stories for rebel girls, for my little girls. So there we are. Whilst I was buying 12 boxes of tomato puree on Amazon, I was also doing this. So Octopus, it's quite a young business, five years old. This was 3 years in. And we landed our first significant investment from Origin Energy, who's a big Australian energy company, 10 billion turnover. And they invested in us enough for us to become a unicorn. So this story went live 1st of May 2020. So I was 2 months after having the baby, buying tomato puree from Amazon, and also having calls with managing directors of businesses with 10 billion turnover, writing press release, running comms, running the announcement for this unicorn story. So this is me, one of the 6 senior people at Octopus. I look after marketing, product development, comms, PR, anything you see as a consumer, website acquisition, retention, all that kind of stuff, and buying 12 boxes of tomato puree from Amazon. Here we go. And I think it's just, for me, it's a lovely example of how complex we are as humans, right? So we have on the left me, this was the day that Al Gore visited our offices because he also became an investor. Later that night, same day, me in a hotel room with my kids, not holding my tummy in, right? So, but at the same time, managing to do both, right? So humans are bloody awesome. Like, we can do all of this stuff. Everybody here does this, has that kind of, that front that they put onto the world and what goes on behind the scenes. And I think that's very important to understand. It's something I think about a lot as I go around my daily work. So, Octopus. Who are Octopus? We think of ourselves as a technology business. So we're using technology to drive the revolution towards cheaper, greener power globally. We need to move to a renewably energy-driven world. We launched in 2016. I joined at the beginning of 2017. Octopus Energy now operates in 9 countries. US, Japan, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, various others. We also have generation in 4 more, so we actually generate our own power as well. Actually, it's 5, because we launched in the Netherlands last week. Nearly 3.5 million retail customers under Octopus Energy. And we also have 25 million contracted accounts on Kraken. Kraken is our software system that powers everything in our business. So it's a proprietary platform we built ourselves, specifically for the energy market, utilities market. CRM, billing, allows us to shift demand of energy around the grid. It's the kind of thing, if you work in energy, you get quite excited about. Probably a bit less exciting here, but it's cool. And we're 5 billion revenue now, so that's latest turnover. And this is some of the things we do. So you may know of us from Octale Retail Energy. That's where we started. 1 country, small energy supply. In fact, when I moved from British Gas, I was solid middle management at British Gas. Before that, I was in advertising at Ogilvy. One of my colleagues at British Gas said, why would you go to another energy startup? You know, they're just all going to go pop, right? And when I moving from British Gas, 30,000 staff to Octopus, 30 staff in a slightly ramshackle office in Soho. We've now got 3,000 staff, 3.5 million customers in 14 countries around the world. So we started off in energy. Kraken Technologies is our business that builds this technology, this platform, which we also license to other companies. So E.ON use it in the UK, Good Energy use it in the UK, EDF use it in the UK, and businesses in Australia and Japan use it as well. We have Octopus Energy Services, which puts heat pumps into homes. The heat pump is a kind of electric boiler. Octopus Renewables, which builds generation, and Octopus Electric Vehicles, so you can get a car through us. So very quickly, over the last 5 years, we've gone from just being a small energy company in the UK to actually someone with a much bigger global footprint across the across the energy value stack. So a little bit bigger than we are. And here we are, some of our journeys. So starting at Octopus Energy, we launched Octopus Electric Vehicles. We launched our Kraken platform. We started to license our Kraken platform to other businesses and grow our own business around the world. And this is what's really important. So our Kraken technology at the heart of a new way of doing energy. So one of the challenges that we have nowadays is that we need to move to using renewable energy. Everybody probably knows we're in an energy crisis right now. So wholesale prices of energy, the energy we have to buy, gas and electricity, has tripled over the last year. It's incredibly high. And a lot of energy companies have gone out of business because they just can't afford to absorb those increases. Most energy companies are making a loss right now. We actually use a lot of our Kraken technology revenue to look after customers on our retail side of things. So we want to move to renewable energy because that stops the dominance and the dependence on fossil fuels, as well as it being a good thing to do as well. And what Kraken does is actually unlocks the power of renewable energy, because one of the challenges with renewable energy is that it's a little bit intermittent, right? So if you've got a really sunny day, you'll have lots of solar energy. You know, it tends to be more windy at night, so there's lots of wind energy, fewer people are using it. So we have to find a way of actually storing that energy and moving it around and making sure it's available when people need, which is one of the things that Kraken does, because we've got a big job to do as humans in looking after the planet, right? We are not in a good place, and you know, recent events, pandemic, crisis now, economic issues, what's Boris doing, you know, this can't be a distraction from the fact that we need to protect this rather precious thing that we all live on. And when I met Al Gore last year, he told a story. He said that if you turn a car on end and drive it as fast as you can until it hits space, it only takes 5 minutes. So 5 minutes of driving is all the shell that protects us from everything else in the world, and that's the shell that we're pumping full of all kinds of crap, right? That's not a lot if you think about it, really. Think of how many humans are and how much stuff you're doing. So that really brought it home to me. And we don't want to move to a world like this everywhere, but it's getting there. So Octopus, back to Octopus and what have we done? We always champion humans and getting a really simple message out there and trying to engage. We're a little bit fighty. So from the very beginning, we've been out there in media. So we championed for stopping bigger energy suppliers using tease and squeeze tactics, which is where you start your first year on a very low rate and then it gets hiked up. We're the first company to publish our profit margins, show what if you're on a particular energy tariff, what we're making from it and where that energy comes from. We've got a new tariff now where if you live within 10 kilometres of one of our wind turbines, when that wind turbine is spinning and there's lots of wind, you get 50% off your electricity because we're like, it's here, use it. And that's something that we're really trying to talk about a lot at the moment, that actually moving to a renewable world, moving to lots more wind farms will actually make us as a country more independent. And we've recently launched a scheme where we're trying to find places, communities, to go and put our turbines. A bit of a dating scheme. So if you've got, some land, if you're a landowner, if you're a community who think you'd like a turbine, let us know. We'll go and put one there, and then everybody benefits from cheaper, greener power, which is kind of cool. So we've got a huge amount of excitement for that. Actually, thousands of people on our waiting list. And moving on slightly to the way we look after customers within the business. So again, it's all about thinking about humans and how they work and how we can make the interaction with an energy supplier easier for them. So traditionally, when you're a customer of a service business, you will be looked after by a number of different teams. So if you call, you'll go through an IVR and it will say, if you need help with billing, press 1, payments, press 2. All that kind of stuff. It's a really frustrating experience. At Octopus, we've always done things differently. So when you join, you're always looked after by the same team of people who are fully trained in every aspect of your account, right? So we aim for like a 95% first-time fix, and where actually somebody will, always have all of their queries solved, right? And actually, because it's the same team of people who look after you, there's about 10 to 12 of them. Actually, if you call back the next week, you could speak to the same person again. So we have incredibly personalised care, from incredibly well-trained members of staff who know everything about the energy system and the energy account, which is actually fairly unusual. One of the earliest things we did as well was start giving out baby Constantines. So Constantine is our octopus, and if you're a customer, you can get a free octopus, or we can plant a tree for you, or if you really, you really want the money off your bill, they cost us about £4, we will give you £4 off your bill. And when I joined Octopus, I'd been quite a big fan of Compare the Market and their Meerkat, and I believe they became the #1 soft toy distributor for a time because of that gimmick, and I was like, we've got to give octopuses away to people. And it's become an incredibly engaging way of people, receiving something from it, sharing it on social media, telling their friends, being, really a little bit of joy dealing with an energy company, which doesn't always happen. And it works really well. Generally, our whole mantra of, looking after customers, 95% first-time fix, baby octopuses, giveaways, etc. It means that we get a huge amount of, love and affection from customers on social. We have someone who regularly sends us pictures and drawings of octopus. We have people who write to us. And it kind of spurs us on to do more things. So this is something that we instigated a few years ago, which was one of the really important things you should do in energy is give a meter reading. So if you don't have a smart meter, which you get automatically, and lots of people still don't, give us a meter reading so that we know what you're using and we make sure that you're paying the right amount and you don't run into debt. But people don't really like to do it. They just, you can't be bothered to go outside, look in the meter box and, sort that all out. So we gamified it. And now, when you give us a meter reading, you get a spin on our Wheel of Fortune, you get to win money. So we have tens of thousands of winners every month, from £1 to, I think, £512 is the top prize. It's incredibly popular, actually. We had to make sure that when people get smart, people were not getting a smart meter because they didn't want to miss out on the Wheel of Fortune. So now if you get a smart meter, you still get 2 spins every month. Just as standard, because it was a bit of a problem for us. And this is quite an interesting graph. This is from a couple of years ago, but this is tracking of how many spins there were each day. And I was like, what's gone wrong on this day? Are we not tracking it properly? This was Christmas Day. So this shows that this is when we had about 100,000 customers, and 3,000 customers span the wheel to give us meter readings on Christmas Day. And I'm like, I thought there were better things to do on Christmas Day, but no, clearly every day is a happy day when you can spin the Wheel of Fortune. Hold music. So if you phone us and you get put on hold, which won't happen very often, you will be played the song that was #1 when you were 14 years old. Right? This is from a bit of insight that actually when you were 14 is actually when a lot of your music tastes were kind of, were created, were founded within you. You do tend to remember it. So it's quite a simple thing to do. It took us half a day to code it. It took us about 6 months to get the license agreement with PPL, who own all the rights to this, because they couldn't quite understand why we might want every song in the world but only once. So that works really, really well as well. Although actually, if you don't like the song, most people do. We get tweets. People go, "Oh, it's really great. I love the song you were playing," and because it works. Some people don't like it, and you can choose something else. But something a little bit less whimsical. What we also try and do is be really, really sensible, innovative, and what we can do to share, to really help customers. So this is also a scheme that we've run for 3 years, where we loan thermal imaging cameras. Really simple device, just clips onto your mobile phone for people to go around their home and see where heat is escaping. And actually, when you do this, it's stuff like, people spending a lot of money on heat in their homes when actually they've got drafts, they've got gaps which could be easily filled. So stuff like actually you get a huge amount of heat escapes through a window, close the curtains before it gets dark is a really effective thing to do. So actually, it's an incredibly simple thing to do, a bit unusual, but actually really help people lower their bills. And it's something that we do on demand if someone wants it, but we also look at customers who we think are using more gas than they should be for their property size, and we'll contact them as well and say, would you like this? We ran a similar scheme this winter called the Octopus Winter Workout, which was an energy-saving advice scheme where we had 250,000 customers sign up, and every week we would send you tips for how to reduce your energy uses, but really smart stuff like actually turning down the flow temperature on your boiler, not just kind of like only boil the amount of water in the kettle. So we're kind of constantly thinking about stuff that we can do. Something else we did, we gave out electric blankets to people who are really struggling this winter as well. So 7,000 electric blankets. It's an incredibly effective way of staying warm. An electric blanket costs about 4p an hour to heat, and it heats you, as opposed to spending a few quid a day heating your whole house. And we actually discovered that people who'd taken the blankets were saving 20% on their whole energy bill, gas and electricity in the way that they were using it. So it's just trying to, at all times, think about how we can, think differently about engaging with customers, both to help them and to entertain them, right? Because energy's hard right now. It's a really difficult place to be. Things are tough, and there's not a lot we can do about the global energy crisis other than moving to renewable energy. But what we want to build is trust with consumers so that they really know that when they've had problems, they can reach out to us. And I was talking to someone from National Energy Action yesterday, which is a national charity who tries to support people who are in energy debt. And they said one of the biggest problems is that consumers are so turned off by energy supplies, they don't even want to get in touch with them because they go, we'll wait hours on the phone and they won't help and all that kind of thing. It's like by building trust with our customers, actually they reach out to us and we can help. We have a £5 million Octopus Assistance Fund, as well as all the things I talked about to help customers with their bills this winter. This is something that Al said to us when he invested in us, that we have a company that's a true enabler of a sustainable system led by a mission-driven team. And this is something else that's really important as well, that it's a small management team. We're still growing. We're still growing the business, but we try and keep it as tight as possible so that we have control. Oh, I've lost my clicker. It's not working. And just finally, before I finish, so this is something about how, we try and ensure that our senior team are very visible on Twitter. So a customer complained about receiving an email about their bills increasing and then called us out and said, you're all nameless, but there we all were, and it's something we do regularly. Anyway, we're available, we're visible, we don't hide from you. And we have an incredibly high product market fit. So 58% of customers would be very disappointed if they could no longer use our services, which is higher even than Slack, which is kind of famously the global leader in product market fit. So our mission is to use technology to make the decarbonisation of energy faster and cheaper for consumers, and this is why we do it. So this is my husband looking a bit knackered as we had more and more kids, but this is me and my dad on a beach in 1986 with my brother. This is my dad last year with my 4 kids, and I want to leave my children a world where they can continue to play on a beach and it's safe and it's clean and it's a nice place to live. So that's why I do what I do, and if I can do it with engaging humans along the way and making them a little bit more happy and contented with their energy supplier, then that's absolutely perfect for me. Thank you.
That was amazing. No one, it is working. Do you have time for like 1 or 2 questions?
Yeah.
Because this one made me piss myself. Again, anonymous. Come on, guys. I really want to like come and shake your hand when you give me good questions. How did the name Octopus come about? And does this mean that none of you eat octopus anymore?
Yeah, good question. So Octopus actually came about, our first investor was a company called Octopus Investments, and they gave money to my CEO, Greg Jackson. They basically led him 10 million quid to go and set up an energy company, and then we're like, what do you think about calling it Octopus Energy? The reason that they were called Octopus Investments is because most finance businesses are called really sensible names that you can never remember, right? So actually they just wanted to do something totally bonkers, and we were like, Octopus Energy, why not? I mean, you're going to remember it, right? And I do eat octopus, but we do have a standing joke about it. Like, if anyone eats octopus, they have to send the photos around the team, and we kind of all mourn it a little bit. But, yeah.
I love it. I don't know if this is a joke, but I'm just going to go with it.
Okay.
Because I've been trying to work out where Kraken comes from as well.
Yeah.
But who came up with Octopus Energy Kraken first? You guys or the crypto exchange?
No, yeah, I think, yeah. I think we are. I think it was us first.
And how have you not managed to hit any problems? So it is a thing.
Yeah. Kraken is used in various different, but it's a slightly different. We do have the IP on Kraken in our categories. It's slightly different. No one's got us confused yet. But yeah, it was us first, and I think it was because we were Octopus, and then we were building this platform. We were like, it's going to be like, it's that thing underneath that holds it all up. And someone went, should we just call it Kraken because it won't stick? And then suddenly 5 years later, it's still Kraken. So yeah, it is something we have the rights over.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, look, I really enjoyed that, Rebecca. So can everyone give a big, big hand?
And thank you for watching.
Woo! Thank you.